Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Welcome to World at Home, Reimagining the World Together. This is brought to you by Black Canvas. And World at Home is an effort to reimagine the world together. And it aims to cultivate our collective healing, creation, education, and reimagination. We have several programs, and this is one, Alive. And today we are going to have Alive Communities. I am Abner Jr., the Artistic Director and founder of Black Canvas. And I would also like to thank Precious Rionisto, our company manager, for helping us set this up and for orienting our guests today. Magandang araw sa Pilipinas, magandang gabi dito sa US. And we're very excited today to listen to our guests. But first, what is World at Home? So World at Home, we have 4 upcoming programs, and we have already started with one, which is Alive. We have a series of Alive, the Redirections, Reconnections, Gathering, and Communities, Alive Communities. And today we're going to talk about communities and supporting communities and our struggles and challenges and hopes and dreams for our communities. And we also have a program called Playtime, which is intended for families. So abangan niyo yan. After today, please check Black Canvas, and because we will offer this for families, no? For at home. And we also have Kids Zone, very specific to kids. And we are going to have programs for you, for your children. And we also have a program called Collab, which is innovation of performances during this time in a virtual format or many other forms. So sana abangan ninyo, and please check out Black Canvas social media accounts. And after this, you can also watch this on YouTube. And I hope that you can share this video. Salamat sa mga nanonood ngayon. Magandang araw sa inyo, and I hope that you can share this to your classmates, to your teachers, to your friends. And all programs are free for everyone everywhere. So I hope you can subscribe. You can also, we are also encouraging you to connect to us if you have any thing to donate, cash, kind, anything, unused phones, old phones, gadgets, or any resources that no longer serves you, that you think pwedeng makatulong sa iba, that can help other people, then message us and we will find a way to give them to those who are in need. And we are also hoping that we can have partnerships who can help us continue these efforts, because the core members right now are really working on almost limited to zero resources. And so I hope that you can support us. If you feel that this resonates to you, I hope you can share, and I hope you can support us in whatever way you can. We also recognize all the efforts of our fellow artists who are doing so much at this point. And also, we would like to welcome our guest today. This is Alive Communities, and we have very exciting guests. We'll start off with Ms. Jennifer Lee Bonto, Executive Director of Artist Welfare Project Incorporated. So hi, Ms. Jen.
Hi, magandang araw sa lahat.
Hello. Magandang araw, Ms. Jen. Yes.
Gabi.
And then, yes, sa AUP, mamaya yung makikilala pa natin ano ang AUP, anong ginagawa ni Ms. Jen. At just a trivia, ito ay nabili ko actually kay Ms. Jen. Ito ay galing sa, saan ito, Ms. Jen? Galing sa Abra. At gawa at hinabi ng mga tinggian, no? Hinabi nila, napakaganda, no? At we can only imagine kung kumusta rin kaya sila ngayon doon at paano din sila nagsusurvive ngayon, no? Maybe Ms. Jen have something to share then later. So we would also like to welcome Rhosam Prudenciado Jr., ang founder ng Likha PH. Rhosam, kumusta? Magandang araw sa iyo.
Hello, magandang araw. Magandang araw sa lahat po.
Yes, Rhosam. Si Rhosam ay founder ng Likha PH, pero si Rhosam ay isang dancer, choreographer, at napaka-generous na teacher, no? Mamaya mas malalaman natin kung sino si Rhosam at paano niya nalikha ang Likha PH, no? Anong inspirasyon at ano nag-inspire sa kanya ngayon? Okay. And then makakasama din po natin si Skyzx Labastilla, ang Program Officer ng Japan Foundation Manila. Hello, Skyzx. Kumusta? Hello.
Ohayo
Kumusta?
gozaimasu. Good morning.
Yes, punong-puno ng halaman ang iyong napakaganda, no? Isang magandang umaga sa iyo. Skyzx is not only a very good actress, but she's also an arts manager and a program officer at the Japan Foundation Manila. And Black Canvas has been also a partner with Japan Foundation, and I myself has been a recipient of programs of Japan Foundation Manila. So it's very interesting to note how later you'll hear the programs of Japan Foundation Manila for artists like you who's watching right now. And then we have also Laya Boquiren of the Deputy Executive Director of Nayong Filipino Foundation. So magandang araw sa iyo, Ms. Laya.
Magandang araw sa lahat ng nanonood at sa iyo, Abner.
Magandang araw, yes. Napaka-asul ng ng inyong aura ngayon, no? Kapayapaan, peace. Okay, talaga. Yeah. Maraming programs ang Nayong Filipino Foundation, and malapit na kaibigan ko si Tracy Santiago, and napakahalaga na nandito si Ms. Laya to inform us of the projects, ongoing programs of Nayong Filipino Foundation. So later we'll get to know more of what Ms. Laya is doing for Nayong Filipino and siya mismo in her life, in how she copes. So again, good morning to everyone in the Philippines. Magandang umaga at magandang gabi dito sa kabilang bahagi ng mundo. You're watching World at Home, Reimagining the World Together, and this is a live communities. And this segment is really an interaction with engaging, leaders and creatives and professionals, various citizens from different sectors and communities and backgrounds to share reflections and responses and visions for our ever-changing world. And the question right now is, how are our community surviving? Paano ba nagsusurvive yung ating barangay, ating komunidad, ang ating arts and cultural communities, specifically, how can we help artists? If I'm an artist, how can I help other artists? If I am an institution, how can I help them? If I am a company, how can I help other artists? No? What are the available support for artists? No? Na hindi lang sa Metro Manila, kundi sa iba din. No? What are support from outside Metro Manila that we can maybe tap? And ano talaga yung kailangan natin ngayon? What do we really need as artists? The practical side and all the other aspects, no, of survival during this time and in the future. And also, I hope that you can engage with us through your comments and questions below while watching this on Facebook, so that we can get to ask our guests here. And I'm excited that they can engage also each other, our guests. They can talk to each other. So let's go back to Miss Jen. Magandang araw, Miss Jen.
Hi.
Maybe you can share for all of you, to all our audiences, what do you do, and what do you do in artist welfare, and what is artist welfare?
Artist welfare ay nabuo noong 2007 dahil madaming artist na nagkakasakit, tapos lagi tayo nagpa-pass lahat. So essentially, hindi naman kakayanin talaga mag-pass lahat lagi. So naisip ng mga artists na to put up an NGO to really address how to help artists coordinate with PhilHealth, SSS on retirement and pag-ibig, these government agencies, because freelance creatives do not have employer and employee relationship. That's why, sa panahon ng you're sick, you cannot have the same benefits that a fully employed person has. So it started from there, and for the past few years, we've forwarded a lot of programs, such as one milestone was the HMO for artists, where just 100 artists grouped together, and we were able to access very low premium fees to have hospitalization benefits, check-up sa doctor, ipin, and even burial benefits. So now
Nice.
it's 600 strong yung kasama sa HMO for artists. Another is lawyers for artists, where artists who cannot understand what's written on their contracts can we match them with lawyers who are willing to explain to them what's written in the contract, or help them out. Madami pa, may mga AUPI talks on really health and wellness. Ako po ay former executive director ng Ballet Philippines. I'm former Philippine Educational Theatre Association. Dun ako namulat sa teatro. And I I'm essentially a cultural manager, and I'm learning a lot, and wala akong Sunday. It's a life. It's a life. It's not work. For me it's prayer. It's work and prayer. It's the same. So maraming salamat na sa mga pagkakataon na ganito, dahil we can reach out and talk to our community and other communities who can partner with us.
Yes. And Ms. Jen, thank you for sharing your background. Para lang may context tayo, that you have really, this is not something new to you, managing artists and really helping artists now from Ballet Philippines, and also things that you've learned from Philippine Educational Theatre Association. So for anyone na hindi nakakalam, Ballet Philippines is the resident ballet dance company of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. And Ms. Jen has also been supporting, let's talk about Ms. Jen first before we go to deeper to AUPI's projects, and also she already shared that. Ms. Jen is also supporting Philippine Weavers. Ms. Jen, can you share to us what is Philippine Weavers?
Yeah, the Philippine Weavers, when you go to the mall, you meet them, you buy one or two until you meet them again, and then for this specific group in Abra, the one naksuot ni Abner ngayon, na may mga butiki-butiki at saka yan, mga it's really naka-model. It's hand-woven, it's naturally dyed, so we got to meet them. And since AUPI is inclusive, and basta you are a creative, you can be part of AUPI. So we eventually got engaged with them, talked to them, went and visited their ecosystem, and got to know more about their family, their hopes and dreams and issues. And after Abra, we got to talk to Marawi weavers, Subanen weavers. Kasi working with Tanghalang Pilipino has place that has very deep research on ano ba yung kulturang Pilipino ng mga weavers. So when they do work Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So napaka-rich ng ating heritage and value system with our weavers. And so we help them get into markets para they can sell their products, and at the same time they can learn, kasi minsan na ma-marginalize din sila dahil napakalayo nila, di rin malaki yung kanilang alam, mismong pagpicture ng kanilang picturean mo para mabenta natin online. Dapat wag madilim, dapat wag against the light, yung mga ganon.
Yeah. So you're supporting them from the most practical efforts to, yes, that's really nice. But you've been doing so much, and you've mentioned also about AUPI and the efforts of AUPI of Panatag, and then the talks, and then the lawyer support. And I'm sure that you have shifted during this time for what happened during this pandemic, and for sure you have discussions of the future, and we'll get back to you on that later. So that's Miss Jan Bonto. Kita mo naman, ramdam mo naman yung energy niya. So it's gonna be exciting. Thank you, Miss Jan. Let's check on Rhosam. Rhosam, maybe you can share to us, what do you do? What have you been doing all these years, these decades, and before you created or founded Likha PH?
Ayun, hello everyone. Good morning. I'm Rhosam Prudenciado Jr. I'm a former artistic director of air dance. And then I am a traveling choreographer. I travel around Southeast Asia to go to festivals to present our work. Me and my partner, Mia Falsin. And ayun, so I've been dancing siguro since I was 7. Professionally, I transferred to Manila 2006. Diba? So called na validated.
Wait,
You
saan
go
ka
to
galing,
Manila.
Rhosam?
It's there. I came from Iloilo. I'm a regional. Ayun. So, I transferred to air dance. It's the first time kasi to have a scholarship program. And then, but after nun, naging ano ako. So, after a decade, I became their director. And ayun. And then I went out of air dance to create Likha PH. So, a little bit background of Likha PH. Likha PH kasi is an outreach program. My personal outreach program. It was established last year on my birthday, on my 35th birthday, parang milestone ko
Dati pa,
kunwari.
ang likha. Oh.
Yes, medyo ano lang siya, hindi lang siya blown talaga social media kasi mas personal siya. So I went a national tour last year. I went to Visayas and Mindanao to present or to give my own style on contemporary. So it's called linear fluidity movement. Linear fluidity movement touches with the flow and the release. Sort of like a technique, but I call it like a movement because I don't have a syllabus. Ayun. A little dissect bakit ko ginawa si Likha PH is 2016 kasi I was diagnosed with my degenerative spine. So I'm basically injured as in like for life na. 2017, I'm a certified person with disability. So struggling with depression, struggling with what I wanted to do and do I have to continue into dancing. I created Likha PH because I wanted to give back kasi I came from the region and I'm privileged enough lang na I have a family that supported me even though they don't understand why am I going into the arts and not into the business kind of life. Yun, parang I want to give back and I want to reach kasi the community of the whole entire country. By doing that, ayun, nag-start ako. And then the pandemic happened. So we have to divert. I have a team that works for me. So we created a Likha PH fundraiser, which already we are supporting artists, dance artists around the country. Medyo mahirap pa talaga siya to really scattered. And then, yeah, we wanted to create kasi a community because dance community have so many communities and we wanted to have that one point organization na lahat can work together.
Yes, I'm excited to hear more about the efforts of Likha PH right now. Later, Rhosam, and your struggles also. Parang how are you able to manage that, and what have you been learning so far? Because it's not just I think one way. Parang I think it's also giving you something for sure. So for those who have benefited from it or will benefit, I think this is a good place to listen. No. From your end, no? And then we also have Skyzx Labastilla, Program Officer of Japan Foundation Manila. Hello, magandang araw, Sky.
Hello, Abner. Good morning.
Hello, yes.
Good evening.
Skyzx is really a very dear friend, actually. Let's put it out there. So one of my very, very dear friend. And thank you for this opportunity, Sky.
Thank you.
Can you share to us? I know napakarami mong fans at
No.
ang dami mong festivals
Only
na
my
naganap
family.
recently.
Not really.
I know that you know you have been through a lot of mga virtual performances recently, yung mga recorded performances mo from Indigo Child to everywhere. But can you just share to us what have you been doing so far apart from Japan Foundation Manila or before Japan Foundation Manila happened?
Yeah, before Japan Foundation, because I'm with the Japan Foundation for 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
So really a great honor to represent them here in this dialogue. And so before GFM, I was part of the NCCA, National Commission for Culture and the Arts, and also another business of one of my siblings, United Towers Philippines. So, and aside from that, I've always had full-time work, but aside from being a full-time cultural worker, I also perform sometimes on play and TV. So since high school, so that's actually where we met, Abner and I. So we're alumni of PHSA. And
Yes.
before COVID, I was part of a theater production under the Repertory Philippines, and we were not able to open, although we rehearsed for almost 2 months, and the announcement was released the day before we opened. So yeah, I'm also one of those who were affected by this COVID-19. Yeah.
Thank you, Sky, for sharing that. And for sure, and you're also part of Japan Foundation Manila.
Yes.
I just want to emphasize why we ask these things, because we want to recognize that, you know, these arts managers, arts administrators, was part of the company are also, you know, human beings who have also their own lives, and it helps us understand where they're coming from, where this altruism is coming from, bakit ganito yung service. So Sky, maybe you can share what is Japan Foundation Manila? What have you been doing, Japan Foundation Manila,
so
for the past year?
Yeah, the Japan Foundation, our head office in Tokyo, was founded in 1972, and the mission is to cultivate friendship and ties between Japan and the world. And our Manila office, we've been around for 24 years. So we were established in 1996, and our global activities focus on 3 areas: language, culture, and dialogues. And I wanted to share this short video with you for you to see some of the activities.
Precious, maybe we can show them the video. So while Precious is preparing, so you mentioned about language,
culture, and dialogue. So actually, those are 3, the 3 main sections in our office. So culture, that's arts and culture. We have Japanese language and education, and dialogue. So that also includes our workshops, other discussions. So yeah, so I belong to the arts and culture section, specifically the performing arts.
So malawak ang coverage ng Japan Foundation Manila. Hindi lang siya, ako kasi from the arts, so ang kilala ko lang is yung sa part lagi ng arts and culture section. And I have also been a recipient, have attended Asian Performing Arts Forum through Japan Foundation Manila and the Japan headquarters. No?
Yeah, Asia Center,
Asia Center. So I've been grateful to them. And naging partner din namin sila sa isang physical theater workshop by Tomohiko Kyogoko last year, which engaged many artists who are into physical theater and dance and movement. So I think ready with sharing video, we can learn more about Japan Foundation Manila at this point. Then, right, let's watch this. So I think that clearly, I think shows how, the scope of Japan Foundation Manila. And I personally can attest that I've been since high school. That was 2 years ago lang. that that I've been a witness to many projects of Japan Foundation Manila with partnerships with Cultural Center of the Philippines. It really intersects, and they really work with not only with arts and culture but with communities. They have supported so many artists already that are doing so well, also helping other people. And I'm excited to hear later. Let's listen to Sky on how they're adjusting, they're coping, how they've been affected by this, because Japan Foundation Manila is really dealing with a lot of travel and international cultural collaboration. So it's quite interesting for me na Sky is here for that. Na meron din tayong one who's really focused on the performing arts sector with Rhosam, and then you have for artist protection, Alpi, and then you also have intercultural collaboration. So Sky, we'll get back to you for the Japan Foundation Manila's responses. So
Alright.
let's listen to Sky later. Now let's go to Laya Boquiren of Nayong Filipino. Hello, Laya. Maybe you can share to us what you do in life, your source of happiness, and what have you been doing so far, and what is Nayong Filipino Foundation?
Okay. Thank you so much, Abner. Hi sa mga nanonood. I'm Laya Boquiren. What I do in life, I teach art theory and art history courses in a university. I also do consultancies for art spaces in galleries also. So that's all what I used to do. I've guest curated a few shows in NCCA, and I'm also a product of the Japan Foundation curatorial development workshops. Parang I've been to two na yata, the second one and the third one. And then I've been a grantee of the Japan Foundation also for an international exhibit that we had, yung Field Trip Project Asia. This was around 2015. So there, and I write. I'm actually part of the Freelance Writers Guild of the Philippines. Yun. So that's what I do in life. And I like gardens.
Nice.
I like
Feeling ko nahawa si Sky sa garden.
Yeah.
That's really nice to
in
hear.
relation to gardens and plants, pupunta na ako ngayon sa Nayong Pilipino. So Nayong Pilipino.
What are you doing in Nayong Filipino? What is Nayong Filipino?
Ang Nayong Pilipino, maraming pinagdaanan yan. No? So we have to remember it was enabled by PD 37 1972 pa. Hindi pa ako buhay noon, actually. No? Tapos, it started out as a cultural park. Ito yung nasa airport noon. So think theme park na Filipino, yung Filipino elements yung makikita mo. So yun yung pagkakakilala all these years sa Nayong Pilipino. And it was sort of a sleeping GOCC, government-owned and controlled corporation for how many years? It's strongly defined by its mandate, no? And nasa batas yan, yung establishing parks and recreation centers. There has to be educational facilities for the public. Also partnerships, multi-sectoral partnerships, social welfare programs, and last but not the least, research on social sciences and the humanities. So it is under DOT. So for many years, the elements of this mandate has not been fulfilled. Ang pagkakakilala ng tao sa kanya, theme park lang. No? So now that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to develop programs. We've been meeting and strategizing since late last year, December, until early this year. And trying to develop programs to activate and fulfill these mandates.
Yes, so this is very interesting, no? To understand yung background mo and your position now in Nayong Filipino Foundation. And it's very interesting that you are in the process of transformation And yet this also happened. So this is another layer to that for sure. You know, the pandemic happened, and then parang I'm very interested how that started to shift, no? Na parang yung sinasabi ngo yung pag-renew or pag-refresh ng imahe or ng purpose ng Filipino Foundation. Ang alam ko kasi ito yung sa Pasay before, di ba? And now it's really working on several projects engaging different sectors as well. So later we'll listen to Laya, because for sure we'll learn something from this, kung ano yung efforts nila. If you're an artist or a teacher or an arts manager listening to this, or kung sino ka man na nanonood, I hope that matutukan mo ito and you can ask questions later. Paano ba ako matulungan? Ano bang, how can, you know, what support can I get, or how can I engage? It's not just about support. How can I help them? No, it's not just institutions maybe helping, but how can I also help them? Yes, so I'll now go direct to back to Rhosam, and to yeah, it's okay. Si Rhosam muna. How have you been, your company so far responding, Likha PH? How is Likha PH responding? What have you been doing so far during this pandemic? No? How have you been coping, and what are the programs that you do or that you have been doing?
Ayun, so Likha PH kasi started April 3. But before that, kasi when I knew that we will have like a pandemic, I came from Japan. So yeah, I'm also been working with Japan Foundation since 2009. I've been working for more than a decade. I've been a grantee. They give me work. Ayun. So I was supposed to finish my residency in Japan, and then my family asked me to go home kasi diba nababalitaan na we're having.
Yes, mayroon na tayong technical difficulty.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat that, Rhosam?
Ayun, so parang Likha PH started the fundraiser April 3. But before that, kasi I came from Japan for a residency. Me and it's a 2-year residency kasi. Tapos hindi ko siya tinapos because the family asked me to go home kasi diba may problem nga. So they're anticipating na hindi ako ma-lockdown in Japan. So I was doing my tawag doon isolation kasi hindi natin alam if I'm a carrier, diba? So I started I just posted on social media that I wanted to teach kasi hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin. I've been active for so many years. I've been traveling a lot. Tapos stuck lang ako sa isang room. So I started teaching, and then I found out na parang the dance community is struggling as well. We have been struggling, diba? Hindi lang sa pandemic. So I started the Likha PH fundraiser. I talked to PJ Rebolida and Ria Dumdum. So they are the first 2 teachers na nag-collaborate with me. And then we talked to Galaw, Daloy, and Air Dance kasi sila yung independent companies na very active here in Manila. Ayun, so far nag-create kami ng fundraiser April 3, and we have been running the program for almost 3 months. Is it okay ba for me to share the slides? Is it okay now to share it?
Oh yes. This is a perfect time. So let's see kung ano yung naging efforts nila, no, at kung paano sila nag-develop. Nakaka-inspire. This is really inspiring. The world deserves to know this, Rhosam. So
ayun. So I don't know if you guys can see it. Ayun. So Likha PH kasi we have 3 core values. We have create, collaborate, and community. Create because we are a creative part of the industry. We are dancers, we are choreographers. Nag-juggle yung mind natin into creativity. Collaborative because we wanted to collaborate with all the dance artists around the country and create a community. In the collaborative part, right now we are focusing on collaborating with the dance artists kasi yung palang yung capability of Likha PH. But in the near future, we wanted to collaborate with other mediums in the arts. Ayun. So we have a vision and mission, to build the community that encourages and nurture support Filipino dance artists. We also wanted to mentor and access. We are supporting financial support then, and we are connecting them to the people that we wanted to tackle, or people that are supporting the industry. Ayun. So, Likha, wait lang. Ayun. So, the objective of Likha PH fundraiser, nag-move. Ayun, is to help the dance professionals, the Filipino dance community. It was initiated and launched in April 2020 and spearheaded by the group of dancers kami yun. It's a very like a family. We're running it like a family corporation, or like a group of friends running it. So we wanted to help kasi the dance community, especially kasi solely we focus kasi 'di ba in Manila. Kasi dito talaga yung parang center of art right now, and we wanted to tell people and wanted to tell the viewers na actually the dance community consists of all the dancers around the country, and we wanted to help the people in the region kasi mas kailangan pa po nila yung help natin. So yun po yung gustong i-reach. Right now po, Likha PH is transitioning. We are going to do our sustainability program. We started it in June this month. And yeah, you can see here in the screen is dance is a flexible profession. Yes, it is. Literally, we are flexible, and also we can be flexible on what is happening in our situation. We are going to run the project for 7 months, and we are here. You can see we have 3 objectives. We have the core 3, which is the Daloy, Galaw, and Air Dance. We are supporting them because they are consist of 36 dance artists na very affected sila because, you know, as independent companies, we only depend on our gigs, on our shows, on our classes, and sila talaga yung isa sa mga nag-struggle, and there are the 3 companies na tumulong for Likha PH to run the program. And then we have raised 200 plus. Supposed to be our target was 100 dance artists around the country. And since lumaki yung fund ni Likha PH, we are going to extend it into 200. And pag lumaki pa siya, we wanted to continue raising it. Right now po, we supported 87 dance artists, including na po dyan, some dancers from Philippine Ballet Theater and Ballet Philippines. And right now po, we are on our
So
batch
you're
5.
saying that you are actually supporting Philippine Ballet Theater, Ballet Philippines also, dancers. Ang galing.
Yes, yes, yes. We have been talking to them kasi syempre, di ba, we are a group already. And right now po, we are on our batch 5, so we are going to include 20 more dance artists around the country. And yeah, meron na kaming database of dancers. Now we wanted to help the 200 dancers will be posted soon. And then we shifted to Likha PH Online. Likha PH Online is to equip the dance teachers. So we are paying the teachers to teach under Likha PH. Alam kasi namin yung struggles ng mga dance teachers, di ba? Na parang, if you're not working in a dance studio, paano ka pupunta online? Ano yung capability mo? So we wanted to give them a platform. Now we're going to pay them. So wala na silang iisipin. They just have to teach for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, or if they wanted to extend. And then we give them a generous amount of fee. Tapos we spread it around our social media platforms. The class is for free, but we encourage the enthusiasts or the students. Now we are still doing the fundraiser to help the dance community. So ayan, so we have donation platform from BPI, BDO, PayPal, and GCash. So we wanted kasi to have a community for the dance artists. We are here. We are actually here kasi we are inspired with the theater, the music, the singers. Ang ganda kasi nung nakita ko siya, I was talking to JK. I was talking to different groups na parang I'm very inspired, so I wanted to create as well. And I'm very happy that most of the dance community helped us to create this initiative. And yeah, so right now po, we are still doing a lot of activities, and we are still talking to our sponsors. We have pledges po kasi until December. And Likha PH po will not stop until December. We are going to run it, and we're going to make it legal soon. Kasi ang dami na nagtatanong kung ano ba kami, NGO ba kami, what
Nice.
kind of group are we. It
But
started
well,
kasi very personal.
Oh yeah, yun yung beauty nun I think because you started very personal. Before I go to Miss Jen of AUP, I want to ask, so these dance teachers are school-based or they're choreographers or they work in different parts of the Philippines?
It's mixed. It's freelance dance artists. They're also working with fitness. Meron din silang part ng company. We cater kasi with everyone and we wanted everybody kasi to come in. Kasi we wanted to have a database or a community na we can set aside, our differences. It's really how to help each other. And part of Likha PH kasi is we're thinking what about the others na hindi capable of doing teaching online. Ano yung mga dancers lang, ano yung mga artists pa na iba na under the dance form. So we are creating or we are having, yun nga sabi nga ni Miss Laya, di ba, na nagsa-strategize kami. Mostly we do have evening meetings with my core group. Ayun, just wanted to shout out to my creative manager, PJ Ribolida, Nicole Primero, and Chantal Primero, my Primero sisters. Are the creative managers and the core group, our coordinators, kasi mahirap palang mag-run ng organization, no?
Yeah.
Talking to different personalities, especially they have their own demands and they have their own questions. But we are happy kasi slowly but surely we are running the program talaga.
Yes.
And then we have teachers from different genres. Ayan po.
Ang galing. We've been observing your efforts online, and for sure you can follow Likha PH. What we can. This is just too much to parang we have very little time to cover everything. But I think the point here is that Likha PH has been doing a lot already. They just started as a personal project, but now I think because of the collaboration. And I think setting aside the gaps and the differences or even the art forms, whatever that is now for sure, it's really putting the community together, the dance community together. This is very, very inspiring, Rhosam. And more people should know more about this. Later, I have questions like how are you going to sustain it? How are you going to but let's go back to that later, to the challenges or to the things that you've been also learning this time. But thank you for sharing that, Rhosam. It's very inspiring. So check out Likha PH later after this conversation. Now let's go to Miss Jen. Miss Jen, artist welfare has also been very active recently. What are the efforts so far? When the pandemic happened, what was the first instinct? How did you want to respond?
Before the pandemic was the taal. So nakamask
yes,
na tayo.
may taal. Oo.
May taal
Sunod-sunod
na.
kasi in the Philippines, just in case some people will watch this from other countries. In the Philippines, so many things happened, no? Apart from all the socio-political fiasco that's been happening in the country, there's also the natural mga disasters such as the taal eruption. So buti na lang hindi talaga siya tumuloy ng malaking-malaki, no? So, ano ang efforts ng AUP from there? Paano nyo tinuhog sa pandemya?
From there, we were already the usual, trying to help out artists ever since naman. But nung nag-COVID, it was we were times 1,000 in terms of effort. We had to be larger than what we are because a few days before the lockdown, we knew that makakancel na lahat ng gigs, makakancel na ng shows, and since we don't have an employer-employee relationship, with Dole will not be able to find us or acknowledge us or prioritize us or the other government agencies, and everybody will be alone. So nag-shout out yung AUP, and after the shout out, in 3 days, we got 7,000 people to join us para magsabi kami sa Dole that, excuse me, we are here. We don't have employer-employee relationship, but
So you mean like a petition? So you got 7,000 support or voices or signatories
From
to
different,
ask like, hello Dole, please recognize us Dole.
yes.
What have you been thinking all this time?
Yeah,
Parang,
I personally, Abner, I was really afraid because I didn't know that it's gonna be 7,000, and I had to shut off that survey sheet because I was really afraid how to be responsible for all of them. But right after we wrote Dole, then a week after we already wrote the regional directors. So our letters are there. But what's wonderful was after a week when everybody knew that, you know, yung iba isang kahig, isang tugtog, isang tuka. You dance tonight, you have 500 pesos. You sing a song tonight, you have 1,000 pesos and it will last you for 2 days. Ito yung mga artists na tinutulungan natin.
the gig culture, no?
Yun
nga, isang kahig isang tuka, no? One project, one pay after.
And these people are hardworking and they don't just sing, they act, they are very creative because they have many talents. Even magkarpintero, yung iba nagmotorsiklo na ngayon. So what happened again was the Umagang Kay Ganda group, the singers thought about getting a video going para to fundraise and assigned AUP to become the fund manager. Kasi si AUP has SEC registration, we've been an organized group, a registered group, we have resibo and everything, and it's also part of our mandate. So she became the fund manager for Umagang Kay Ganda, and the other efforts came like the open house, which was headed by Phil Stage, the performing artist. Phil Stage, Third World Improv, The Spit, and the Theater Actors Guild. Gumawa sila ng 2 months na talagang nag-perform sila, nag-ayos sila ng programming 3 times a week, twice a day, and they performed online so that they can raise funds. And they were able to raise like 1.3 million, and they distributed to 2,000 pesos. We distributed 2,000 pesos each per each beneficiary na displaced, performing artist na displaced ng COVID economically, no? And then
Are you still in the process of distribution, Ms.
yeah,
Jen?
they ended na. We're still in the last 100 people. Pero yung mga na distribution, the beneficiaries were very, very happy and very, very grateful that I get all these messages na maraming salamat na may tumutulong sa amin, may nag-iisip sa sitwasyon namin. So, minsan kailangan ko na, Miss Jenny, bumili na ako ng bigas at saka gatas para sa baby ko. Pinicturean pa niya, yung ganon. It's really very moving. And yung susunod naman yung all access. These are live events, yung mga production crew, right? Yung mga nagre-rig ng pag nagla-live events, nagse-set up, nag-i-ingress, nag-i-egress, paano na sila? So they also raised funds through the Bayanihan Musikan and the musicians also. So the Bayanihan Musikan donated 1 million pesos and we were able to help out 500 people with tig to 2,000 pesos. Merong mga feedback na naggawa na siya ng mga sari-sari store sa bahay with the 2,000 pesos. Naggawa na siya ng tapsilogan sa bahay. That they're very, very grateful na kahit 2,000 lang yan, it's really lifeline eh. Of course, then may daming sumunod. NCCA reached out and were able to give slots to AUP and we distributed funds also there. And FDCP, hindi lang film ang natulungan nila, mga live events people natulungan rin nila. So continuous yan. And ang pinaka-reflection namin dito, right now, on our database, we're pushing for 20,000 people because the National Live Events has coalesced. Nag-coalition na sila and they have this listing that's out it's on. It's still on. It's churning 9,000, 10,000 so far. So
And it's still
naging
open? It's still open, right?
still open. It's
You
still
can just
open.
access it. Okay.
Yes. And we need that. We need that data because sa leadership nila, Lisa Dino and Toff de Venecia sa Congress, bago kasi nag-COVID, naghihiring yung Eddie Garcia bill. So we were very active on that. Actually, the time na nag-hearing, yung last na hearing sa batasan, sa kabilang room, naghihiring yung COVID. So meron na positive doon. So right after, we were all person under monitoring. Wala pa naman ako so far. But then continuation talks and with more congressmen and senators to hear us, to recognize us. So slowly, the creative sector, the creative industry are being recognized sa legislative.
Is there a reflection already of that recognition, Ms. Chen? I mean, what are the action plans? Are they in place already?
Well, the Eddie Garcia bill is being forwarded, and the National Live Events Coalition, they made this really makapal na safety protocols. How, if you want to restart your live event, your wedding, your concert, there's safety protocols for ECQ, MECQ, GCQ to protect the workers, to protect the and these were done by volunteers in the sector. This is very amazing kasi yung concern nila na baka mag-start tayo mag-live events pero mamatay naman tayo sa COVID. So they're working on that day and night.
So are you saying that AUP is also not just providing this, becomes a channel of the bigger donation system like of Bayanihan Musikahan, you become a channel of these resources as well to stretch it out and to extend to artists who are in who most need it, who need it most now. But you're also part of really pushing the agenda for artist protection, not only pre-pandemic but especially post-pandemic. So that's in the works, no? So sometimes the support is not just the financial. We also have to, I think nasasagot na rin yung tanong na medyo pa long term na rin yan, at one point. Parang it's really providing people a space to work again if we are going to involve ourselves in this economy again. So iba-iba ng mga pananaw, but if we have to base it from how we've been doing it, you're helping that create that space for artists to function.
We've been connecting the artists with possible work. Like Nayong Filipino opened up the Rhizomatic Intervention. We'd had to shout out, "Uy, mag-submit na kayo." IPO opened their doors to the Rebuild as One project. We had to shout out also. There's this si Congresswoman sa Binyan, nag-shout out siya to all Binyan creatives, apply for this ayuda. So we had to shout out to everybody kasi nasa database namin sila eh. We can connect to them. So we and NCCA, and now so even right now tuloy-tuloy yung pagbigay ng cash aid, tuloy-tuloy yung pagbigay ng information, tuloy-tuloy yung pag-lobby sa mga bills. So, yun ang naging gawain ng artist welfare for the past 3 months.
Yes, that's very inspiring. Actually, napakaraming points na pwede ma-explore dito, no? Some artists have just been hearing this artist welfare, but I know it hindi madali, pero parang I have been hearing a lot of involving a lot of sectors and a lot of collaborations, a lot of partnerships, and recognizing that it is not just your effort, but the effort of the community, helping the community. No, parang, and how you become a channel for that. And you even mentioned about Nayong Filipino. Everything is interconnected here. And I think this is a place, we'll go back to there later, Ms. Jen, but this is now a time, I think, Nayong Filipino, let's listen to Nayong Filipino's effort. Ano ang Rhizomatic Interventions? O nag-call sila for recently, what is that effort, Laya? Maybe you can share how did you respond to this pandemic? How did you want to support the communities around you?
I'll start first with how we responded to this pandemic. So two ways, reactive and proactive. I'd say reactive because work quickly had to migrate online, and not everybody's connected on fiber. So it's really quite a challenge, and it's not just within Nayong Filipino, but a lot of our creatives, artists, some of them don't have internet access, for example. Naglo-load lang naman yan, for example, sa talk and text or sa Sun Cellular. So it's really a challenge for everybody. Yun. And then on the other hand, Nayong Filipino was just starting to conceptualize a cultural park and creative hub, complete with an urban forest by Manila Bay. That site connects to a larger marine corridor. The pandemic, the ECQ, the declaration of the ECQ in March, in a way forced us to sprint and speed up our movements and be agile. After months-long planning, deliberations, the usual bureaucratic processes that take place. So yun yung nangyari, reactive. And then another hand, proactive. The proactive aspect, because now that we may, even if we may not be able to build that intended facility near Manila Bay, we're thinking of the internet as our park, as a digital.
That's interesting.
So yun yung gagawin.
A digital.
To create engagements online, and it's a challenge since we all just came in recently, the ones who are thinking of these programs. So wala pa nga kaming natatayong website. So most of our interactions are happening right now in social media, but we plan to have our website very soon. Yun. And so we started this thing called Rhizomatic Interventions. Rhizomatic Interventions is, taking off from Deluz and Batari. It seeks projects, or it seeks community-initiated projects that are already taking place on the ground, that are already happening. So all they have to do is share what's happening on the ground and share that using available technologies. And I'm very thankful for organizations like AUPI who have been helping creatives and arts and culture workers to come up with these proposals and send them by email, because it's very hard to circulate information and it's very hard to receive these proposals kasi nga hindi naman lahat may internet access. So I'm really thankful for organizations, existing networks, even friends from arts and culture organizations who really disseminated this information even to those with no internet access. So sila yung nagiging conduit, nagpapadala ng mga proposals. Merong nagpadala, tuwang-tuwa ako, cruise musicians. Yes, and even proposals from IP communities, nakatanggap kami, no? So nakakatuwa yung ganun. So what is Rhizomatic Interventions, basically? We were dreaming of this digital park, or when it happens, that existing park, to be a transdisciplinary space. Remember, one of our mandates na hindi natutuloy or hindi na-fulfill is research on social sciences and humanities and social welfare programs. So what is this transdisciplinary space? It permits collaborations, not just among artists and the so-called creative class, but it also permits collaborations with, for example, tour guides, heritage workers, historians, even scientists. So that is the dream, and hence you have Rhizomatic Interventions, and you have those several themes based on our research of what is already happening on the ground. So it's not as if we thought of those themes and we were wanting to dictate it, no? Na very arboreal yung structure, because that is not what Rhizomatic is. We actually did research and tried to see what was already happening on the ground, and then that's how we can sort of curate information and have a way to process that and share it to our digital park.
Okay, so far, Laya, let us just clarify. You are providing funding, space, information dissemination, all of these things.
all of these things. All of
Yeah.
these things. No?
So it's possible that I connect to Nayong Filipino Foundation. Is it by proximity? Ibig sabihin, kailangan ba malapit ako sa, or kailangan ba dito lang sa Metro Manila, o pwedeng...
No, in fact, we're encouraging and we would very much want collaborations outside Manila. A lot of our proposals for rhizomatic intervention, some of them came from Mindanao. Some of them did not even come from Manila. Meron kami Visayas, even Cordillera, and Ilocos. Ganun kalawak yung naging range ng rhizomatic interventions, which was a pleasant surprise. Ako mismo hindi ko ini-expect yon kasi I mean, hindi ko naman nakikita kung sino yung nagre-respond dun sa call. No? At first, nagdatingan yung call parang typical the day before the deadline or a few hours before the deadline, the usual. Yun. And I was really surprised na yung proposals, it's not NCR. Madami galing outside NCR. At kahit nakasakay pa lang sa barko, nagpapadala ng proposal. So it's really wonderful. It's wonderful to have that.
Which is a good thing, I guess, that it's parang it really diffuses, decentralizes yung focus lang din sa artist community sa Metro Manila. Kasi napakarami natin na hindi pa nga natin alam na nag-exist sila at all. But they do exist. They have their struggles. Marami sa kanila nahihiya, marami sa kanila hindi man lang alam at all how to start, how to even begin, or marami sa kanila probably have decided not to seek support anymore, and just do it by themselves. Parang sanay tayo culturally, parang we are, sanay tayo to work, and sometimes it's also frustrating kasi there are resources na pwedeng ma-access. So parang I think maganda na marami ding mga proposals from the regions. So ongoing ito, you're providing funds, you're providing the support, and then you will still develop this. You will create an online platform, your website, and for sure it will grow. Later, balikan natin yan and yung paano yung challenges nyo na hinaharap ngayon, no? And also, I want to throw it to everyone before I go to Japan Foundation Manila, Sky. To think about, maybe you can ask questions from each other on the challenges, specific concerns that you have. I know I want to recognize also mga listeners natin or mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. If you have a specific question, say, then baka pwede nating ipasa sa ating mga speakers ngayon, no? This is a good time, but you can always check their website. You can always connect to them, yun. So later, I hope we can talk about your challenges. Let this be also a space for support, supporting each other. How you go about your support system for the community, particularly your challenges in these efforts. So let's go to Skyzx. Skyzx, for Japan Foundation Manila. In fact, we just had a meeting. What are the ongoing efforts? Where are you right now, and what have you been learning so far? I know that you have been conducting your research. What have you been learning so far with all of these things? And yes, how have you been coping also as a company that is used to helping people?
All right. So currently, we at the Japan Foundation, we are offering 2 programs. One is our local grant program. It has always been there, actually, even before COVID-19. But for this quarter, when we started our fiscal year, we made it available even for those projects that are online based. So because before, most of our projects, actually all of the projects that we granted are really actual projects. There has to be a face-to-face interaction. So now we are open to any grant applications, even if it's an online-based project. So one of our grantees this year is Writer's Block. So through J.K. Anicoche and Cero de Vera, so we are proud to support the Virgin Lab Fest 2020 online version. And because of our support, the materials this year, some of the materials were translated to English. So yung available sa Vimeo ay may English subtitles.
So it's accessible also not only
to
for Filipinos, but for the international
audience. Exactly. And another activity that VLF has this year is the roundtable discussion. So merong isang segment na Focus Asia. So sa Focus Asia, Jake invited different artists in Asia. So one is from Japan and sa APAF. So sa APAF. So we are very proud to be part of this year's biggest theater festival through our grant program. And then another program that we have is our Tsuki Newsletter. So it is actually, for the past years, printed siya na newsletter. Pero this time, we released it online by featuring artists and cultural sectors, so for them to share their COVID stories and experiences. And aside from those two, currently we're also conducting a survey to our previous partners and those people who were sent to Japan for international exchange or artists in residencies. And the main goal of the survey is for us to know how they are coping with COVID-19, and also we want to know their plans for the future. And actually the result of the survey, it will actually be more of the internal. So it's for JFM for us to hopefully realign our programs this year to make them more relevant to the arts and culture sector.
How what's at stake there, Skyzx, with this research? So this is interesting, no? Kasi there are efforts that are really like, okay, with AUPI, for instance, they really need to send out this money right now. They really need to, for the Filipino, it's about recognizing these efforts na happening on the ground. Rhosam has to take care of. Now let's talk about the value naman of this research. No? Parang, what is at stake here? Why is it so important to also be intentional or prepare so much information? Where do you see this coming? Going? Itong information na makukuha ninyo. I mean, ano ang potential nito for Filipino artists or collaborators?
Right. Actually, itong initiative na mag-conduct kami ng survey, because we're also doing our research. So we've read some of the results of the surveys conducted in other countries as well, hindi lang sa Philippines. Pero when we received the news from head office that most of our proposals this year, yung project na supposed to be, we will be implementing this year, ay na-approve ng head office, we realized na, will these projects still be relevant given na ito yung situation, naka-lockdown yung mga tao, we really cannot invite Japanese artists to go to the Philippines and do the workshop. So it was actually the proposal of the head of the Arts and Culture section of GFM, Ms. Mariko Okeda. So she said that it's very important that we can't just realign our programs based on what we know, yung team lang namin composed of 7 people, but we really want to hear the concerns of the artists. So it's actually very important for us to listen, and we appreciate those artists who actually took time to not just answer our survey forms, but they also agreed to talk to us, and we really heard from them how we can, as an organization, help them. So actually, ang amazing kasi hindi lang puro pera yung kailangan ng mga artists. So one of the artists that we interviewed, ang ano niya lang, we just want someone to listen to us. So even as basic as that, yung merong organization na willing na makinig sa kung ano yung totoong issues at totoong pinagdadaanan ng artist, malaking bagay na yun. And for us, parang it's a great realization na not all the time people need your money. So sometimes what's more important to artists are really someone who will be there to just listen to them, and hindi lang yung for the sake of just listening, but really paying attention to what they are saying. And hopefully when we gather all these things from artists that we've worked before, we can come up with programs na mas magiging relevant, and hopefully mag-work din siya sa current situation. But one limitation though that I see is the Japan Foundation. We are of course supported by the government, the Japanese government, and we have to abide by the laws. So although we are aware that the people, say the Filipino artists, they need the basic things like say pambayad sa rental nila or food, we can't just easily provide that, kasi kailangan there has to be an interaction, a collaboration between the Japanese artists and the Filipino artists. So
yeah, it really aims to foster yung continuation of the culture, of the cultural exchange. No, it's not just a matter of parang and there is so much more to explore there. No, actually, ang daming pwedeng tanungin dyan kasi I myself studying intercultural collaborations, and parang how do you repurpose international collaboration when you can't seem to travel, or travel is a threat already being threatened. So you mentioned about the challenges. I think this is a time for us to share. I open the floor to anyone, and even to our audiences. Please ask them very specific questions, maybe how they deal with this, how can I get support or anything. Thank you so much for following us. This is World at Home. What have you been challenged with in terms of the support, like creating the support system? Parang saan kayo pinaka nahihirapan? Saan kayo pinaka parang may naghihinder sa inyo na really ma-fulfill yung vision ninyo to really help more people? I think let's be more interested now with the problem. I know that the world is already problematic. Let's what are the problems of these people who are solving other people's problems? Yes.
Can I start? Okay.
Yes.
For me, siguro, having and running Likha PH, one of our problems, specifically for the dance artists, is some of our leaders do not respond to us. So I used to get mad with it, na parang I don't understand bakit hindi sila nagre-respond, diba? But
sorry, some of your what? Some of your?
Some of the dance leaders in the communities. Yeah, but yeah, I'm now being honest, and I hope they are listening.
Yes. Oh, this is very important. No, let's communicate.
Yeah.
So communication with the dance leaders that you're helping or you're working with
we wanted to help and we wanted to collaborate with them, but I think we have to understand it, and I have to understand for myself na yeah, we are in a pandemic, and I know that everybody is coping up differently. We some of them are not active like Likha PH or me na parang everyday lang, that is like my life up until Sunday. Because we do have a talk show also every Sunday to check up our dance artists around the country. But yeah, one of the struggles talaga is really how to really connect to them. Not only just because of the age differences or the knowledge, because some of them are younger, some of them are older than us. Yeah, the main problem for us is communication. Also, I don't know, maybe some of the organization, we really need to sit down and talk about it, and how to really do what they call like ambassadorship, like who is the best fit to be the dance ambassador for dance, the dance ambassador for theater. I think we really have to sit down on that with NCCA, because we have to have different kasi yung approach. I know it's really parang group parang community, di ba? And I wanted to have, since we have a pandemic, it's like a start over. Not a start over, but a leeway for everybody to work together. Ako yun yung pinaka-ano ko na parang, how can we like really sit down and talk about it? And, you know, mas gusto ko siguro makita yung, you're thinking beyond what group you are included yourself. It's more of like, how can we help our country, our artists in general? Yun yung pinaka-main.
Yes, I can sense the vision here, Rhosam, that you see the pandemic as, you know, you see the restart button in the pandemic to really gather together, and that I think, you know, the art scene is not free from competition and from a lot of differences. At one point, it kumbaga parang on a more philosophical sociological perspective, parang it somehow thrives on the idea that, you know, but I have a personal stand on that. And so what you're trying to say is, I hope that this can be a time where we can set off our differences, or let our guards down, and just really be sincere and as authentic as possible to gather together and to really pinpoint the problem. So you mentioned that. I mean, I think one of the factor would probably be, you know, there is intergenerational problem there. Surely there is not only also intercultural problems, maybe, or, you know, like iba yung kultura ng group na to, ibang kultura ng group na to, and yet, you know, parang but I think the good thing there also is that it sometimes nakabase lang siya din sa leader. So I think on a macro level, on a socio-political level, just like what's happening in the Philippines, parang iba-iba man tayo ng ano, but the ambassadorship or the stewardship or yung leadership means a lot. Who speaks, because that person can change the whole conversation, also can help give the voice to the others. Yeah, let's be honest to that. So your problem is the communication, which is rooted from many other things, for sure. Differences of culture, of age, of knowledge. Okay, that's very, very valid at this point. So yeah, and for sure meron din yung concern on technological iba-iba din ng skill set, no, sa pagdating sa virtual.
It is.
No?
And also,
so which is intergenerational. Which is intergenerational.
If I can just like sorry.
At saka ano din siya. Yes, Rhosam.
And also I could maybe like a learning also for dance artists. Yun nga, when Miss Jen is talking about yung mga PhilHealth, the insurance, and I think it's good that the dance artists now realize, because artists just like us doesn't realize that na parang kasi we only live in our shows, in our gigs, in our teaching jobs. Hindi natin iniisip yung saving. Hindi natin iniisip na how to set aside money, because we have so many reasons. If you are against with what I'm saying, di ba, may mga reasons ka talaga. But I think we have to realize na at times like this, we have a pandemic, and you know, it's really important to really assess yourself, assess what you're standing right now. And ako kasi, when I went out to air dance, I really pushed na meron silang health insurance, meron silang SSS, meron silang PhilHealth, merong emergency funds ang company. Before, pinush ko siya before ako umexit, kasi I really wanted, yung palang a smaller scale, I really wanted my dancers to be secured. And sana in general, I think mapag-isipan, since nandito lang naman tayo sa bahay, most of us, and I think i-assess natin kung ano ba talaga ang magagawa natin to work beyond the pandemic, beyond what is our situation right now. And it's really a learning curve for us. Kasi yun lang ang problema talaga natin.
I think nararamdaman ko si Miss Jen ng AUP na sumasagot, kasi na-mention yung part na yun, no, ng artist protection, and I think this is one of the reasons why she's here also. So connect natin yon. Yung concern na yon, Miss Jen. Ano naman yung kayo naman na platform to help and to communicate that need? Ano naman yung challenges nyo? Bakit may mga talaga mahirap
Yeah.
na ma-solve.
Tama si Rhosam when you say that there are learning curves, there are comfort zones, and this COVID has pushed people to maybe introspectively look inward and outward. It's really a luxury to just sit down and uh, think about it. But sa AUP, no, na matagal nang pinupush noon-noon pa yung PhilHealth, yung SSS, yung Pag-ibig, yung HMO, uh, minsan personally na emotional ako kasi, for example, alam ko na may ayuda ibibigay sa artist na kailangan, wala siyang ID. Wala siyang valid ID. So parang ang hirap i-take. Pero each challenge kasi or each problem is also an opportunity. So we also shouted out with BIR, kailangan magbayad tayo. Actually, kailangan mo lang i-file kung wala ka namang pera, kailangan mo pa rin i-file. So, meron talagang mga baby steps. So right now, andito pa din ang AUP to assist anybody, any creatives, go through these learning curves and comfort zones. And hindi natin judge sila na slow learner sila or pero kasi we just have to be here. Alam mo naman yung mga creatives ayaw natin kinakahon tayo. We want freedom to breathe. We want freedom to be. Kahit na sabihin mo ng ilang beses, hanggat hindi natin nararamdaman. Kasi buwis buhay
Ang
na.
mismong experience natin hanggat hindi siya nangyari sa atin. Hindi, we don't speak. So it puts me in a perspective now, Miss Jen. Is the problem maybe because the reality and the personalities are like that? Is it a time and maybe a long overdue parang period na pwedeng this is telling us na of our way to communicate? Maybe I'm just thinking about these things. Parang or maybe we really need more people like within the creative zone. We need those creative people who can communicate best also to this. I think yun yung in the forms of testimonials, di ba? May mga ganon. May mga ganon kayong efforts.
I think it's the high time to step up yung pagmamahal sa bayan. Tingin ko lang, in a bigger scheme of things. Kasi kahit naman isang leader, hindi naman magagawa niya lahat Right now, AUP, nung nag-COVID, ako lang naman yung AUP Ako lang yung full-time worker But we were able to do this because of all the volunteers that we had to offer their time. It's so wonderful. It's so amazing. It's a miracle actually. Or else wala, matatanggal na yung buhok ko lahat. Saka baka, I'm also a PWD. I had brain surgery last 2016. So it's just wonderful when artists get their golden heart because inside it's a golden heart. You are creative. To create is to give. So, we just have to step up this time that as an artist, as creatives, tinatawag tayo ng universe para magbigay, mag-alay ng ating mga obra para pag tumulong ka sa iba, it comes back 10-folds or 100-folds. Right now, isang challenge, gusto ko lang i-mention, isang challenge talaga ng artist welfare na nakita namin as a root cause of many problems is to find where the artists are. Asan ba kayo? So parang in terms of registry, alistahan, kakaawa nung shout out lahat ng mga tao, papalista siya doon, papalistad siya doon, papalista siya doon. Pag napalista na doon, what you have to communicate to them na kung ano na nangyari sa listahan ko, you have to answer all the emails. After 1 week, I was answering kahit 500 emails. Kahit na, okay po, andito po kami. Parang, di ba nakakainis pag magtawag ka ng hotline, parang, please dial 14, dial 24. Mga
Ito manual.
Oo, sa artist welfare, kahit umaga, Miss Jen, wala akong bigas, wala,
Pero let us just be reminded, Miss Jen, that this is an effort of artists, the
yeah,
artist welfare, right? Okay.
yeah,
Um, and that's why I think we are really holding on to government support, right? That's why we we need to get to that level of legislation because at this point also like look seeing this parang napaka-noble ng work pero at the same time parang
if you wanna,
ideally dapat ano ito dapat 'di ba naka-incorporate talaga siya sa kumbaga when we talk about our healthcare system and everything parang if you are the soul of our country and our culture parang dapat protected tayo kasi tayo naman yung nagbibigay
yeah,
ng imahinasyon nagpapalawak
yeah.
ng imahinasyon ng mga
Pero
tao sa
ano,
mga
there is government support, except except may mga disconnect. Gusto rin naman ng
Yeah.
gobyerno tulungan ka eh. Kaya lang wala kang ID. Paano? Kasi minsan tali din yung gobyerno sa mga
bureaucracy.
sa COA, sa style. We have to talk to each other. We have to converse. We have to tell them, this is us, you are. So it's a dialogue. And sometimes we have to like give 1 day out of 5 days of dancing or 5 days of singing to tell them who we are. And so the guilds has to have teeth. This or sabi nga ni National Artist Bien Dumbera, tinanong siya ng isang estudyante na ano po ang gagawin ko para mapalawak ang aking pagiging artist? Ang sabi niya, kumonek ka sa kapwa artist. Kumonek ka, mag-organize kayo para, strength in numbers. So sometimes we give that part, that role, that hour to connect. The rest of the day, if gusto mong magmuni-muni sa sarili mo, okay lang yun. But that challenge right now for the government is to, nasaan ba kayo? Mag-usap na tayo. You have to take advantage of that. So right now, AUP needs support dahil doing a proper database na is robust, is secure, is private. Madaming pwedeng magawa na with that database as platform of collaboration eh. Pero yung mismong example ko lang 'di ba magpapalista ka, nasan address mo. Minsan hindi nila ibubuuin yung address. Lalagay lang nila pulang lupa. Nasaan yun? Hindi ko alam, daming pulang lupa sa Pilipinas. Di ba? Pag sabi, number of dependents, ang ilalagay 120. Ang dami. Yung buong kabarangay ata, dependent niya. So,
pero clearly, Miss Jen, ito ay manifestation ng gap ng kung paano nila naunawaan din ang information eh. And may mas malalim pa na cause ito for sure ang education, no, access to education opportunities, babalik ka sa social justice. So napakahirap tumbukin ng isang problema nang hindi mo tinutumbok yung isa eh. Napaka-konektado ng lahat. So habang nakikinig ako sa inyo, what I'm saying is clearly there are not only parang alam na natin na may gap eh. Parang I think what we all can maybe can look into now is really continuing in creating spaces na mas makikinig tayo sa isa't isa, yung protecting that or parang finding a common language kahit magkakaiba tayo ng kahit napakarami nating wika. Parang ganun ba? Parang language ng gobyerno, language and hanapin yon kasi we work with institutions also. These institutions are government funded but we are also aware of the bureaucracy of these things, and it's like almost naka-under the rug na lang siya na matagal talaga. Parang I think I have to point this out. This has to be a time that has to stop. That has to stop. That just has to stop. I feel like I know it can be parang too radical maybe, but it has just to stop. All these the length that the artist has to wait for to receive payments, there has to be some bridging of meeting somewhere there. And if there has to be more artists in the government or more government officers to be artists, then so be it. Parang, for you to understand each other, I don't know. What I'm saying is there has to be, there are too many radical ideas going on right now, di ba? And ako, I just want to articulate that na parang for all the other artists, the younger artists also, who cannot fight for themselves, that has to stop. Napakaswerte ng ilan na they can communicate with those who are hiring them, but there are those that talagang baguhan pa or dapat hindi siya ganun So I think that's where you're coming from din. Marami pa. So I think yun yung maganda doon. We're working with different sectors. We're working with government and there's support, there's the numbers, but there's also the education na gap yun yung nakukuha ko dito, Ms. Jan, that we hope to I think Nayong Pilipino can maybe. What are your thoughts, Laya, on these kasi coming from a very culturally engaged parang sector, or I don't know if articulated that right, pero parang you have these efforts, rhizomatic interventions, so you're really recognizing na ito yung language niya of creation, ito yung language nila of survival. How are you seeing all of these things? Do you share the same challenges sa Nayong Pilipino?
Iba't ibang languages, you mean?
Oo, I mean literally iba't ibang lingwahe at literally iba't ibang paraan din ng kumaga paglikha ng mga tao. Kasi di ba you mentioned about rhizomatic interventions, so parang in Nayong Filipino Foundation's effort, do you also share the same sentiments? May mga challenges ba kayo or mas internal ba yung challenge nyo? Paano?
Okay. No, so just to share, coming from a personal vantage point muna siguro, I still keep my old bank book with only 40 pesos remaining. Just to remind me of what precarity means to a creative. Alam na alam ko yung hindi ka nababayaran on time, hindi ka nababayaran at all, yung kalimutan na lang. I know that very well. And also just to share, my husband is a freelance musician and is actually one of those who have lost income during the pandemic. So it's really very real to me, all these sentiments that I'm hearing today, these insights that I've been getting also from Jenny. So yes, I agree. What we need is a long-term social protection program, not just the short-term and medium-term solutions that government agencies and grant-giving bodies can give. So what we need is that. So one of the challenges, not just of Nayong Pilipino, but lahat tayo, ito yung challenges natin, is database consolidation. There are data privacy issues at hand, and not all organizations may be willing to disseminate the data they have. So for example, grant-giving bodies, how can they give ayuda without a basis, without that database? So yan, I think yun yung naging experience ng ibang grant-giving bodies na nagbibigay ng ayuda when the ECQ was declared. So paano nila gagawin yun? Wala silang consolidated database na kung sino yung mga bibigyan ng ayuda. So that's one of the challenges. Nayong Pilipino is a GOCC. It's not a grant-giving institution. So for example, although one of the programs is the development of social welfare programs, job generation, it's under the TOP. So what it has to do is employ creatives, create opportunities for arts and cultural workers. There are Nayong Filipino performers, for example, in Clark, meron pa doon. There they give tours to schools, and they perform. So yung ganung klaseng opportunity can be scaled up, improved, and maybe transposed elsewhere. We may not have that park near Manila Bay, but maybe we can create programs. So one of the challenges really is making sure that these programs are well thought of. What are these programs that we have? We have 3, yung heritage space, ito nga yung transdisciplinary interactions, participatory curation. So lahat ng klaseng interaction na pwedeng maganap sa aming mga stakeholders, dito natin pwedeng gawin, dito sa heritage space program. And then another is Research Institute. Ito yung mga research tungkol sa pagbuo ng database on arts and culture, creative industries, tourism, etc. So those are the 3 intersecting sectors that we serve. No? Another is the Cultural Leadership Institute. Ito yung mga capacity building na binibigay namin. So we're first starting with the performers and employees of the Nayong Filipino. Most of them are in Clark. And then we want to expand that and give that to the public and maybe interested stakeholders. What it means to be a cultural leader, what are the basics that one must learn, so that whether they still continue performing whatever path they take, they at least have some basic cultural sensitivity training, for example. And they're aware of these things that we confront, that cultural managers and creatives confront. So those are some of our programs that we have. So challenge talaga that it has to be well thought out, well designed, because we're subject to annual audit by the COA. So yun.
Mm-hmm.
But really, madali lang yun no? So we encourage the public, for example, that when they give out proposals, sana yung costing malinis, well rationalized, and I think Nayong Filipino is very much willing to collaborate with them and fix those proposals and arrange it, and coach them even. So may ganun namang willingness. I think one of the challenges also that we're facing is networking. So kung may IATF ka, baka dapat yung networking among organizations and private organizations and organizations under the state, mas palakasin pa natin yung networking. Yung iwasan na yung mga turfing, masyadong turfing. Domain namin to, ba't nyo ginagawa? Hindi nyo dapat pinapasok to kasi namin to, may project kami ganito. Pwede namang magtulungan, di ba?
So you mentioned about networking. I think I'll go to Sky. Sky, is this something that has been a challenge to Japan Foundation Manila? Have you been experiencing problems in pursuing your support in your efforts in supporting artists at this point? Mahirap ba makakuha ng mga responses?
Yes, specifically sa grants program. So surprisingly, we really thought at first we thought na a lot of people will access or apply to our local grant program, but to our surprise, konti lang yung, so kumbaga sa amin, hindi namin problema ang pera. Kailangan namin ng applicants sa grant. And ang crucial doon kasi kailangan nga ng participation ng Japanese artist. So hindi lahat, kunyari, taga Jensen ako, wala akong kakilalang Japanese artist. So how can I access your local grant, diba? So, yun yung challenge, pinakamalaking challenge dun. So, only those people who have, who had the opportunity not only to go to Japan, pero may kakilala silang ibang artist na pwede silang ma-introduce, then tsaka nila magagawa yung project. So, yun yung actually yung number one challenge, yung network. So kung hindi ganun ka malawak, wide yung network ng Filipino artists, kahit ang brilliant ng gusto niyang gawing project, pero walang way na makaparticipate ng Japanese artists, then we can't support that
Mag-apply
project.
Mag-apply kami.
Yes.
Japanese.
Yes. Actually, that's the reason why we opened our local grant program to a second batch. Kasi akala namin mauubos. Ang dami pa naming natirang pera. So, yun siya.
So Let
Mag-a-apply
this
po
be a
ako.
call to the artist. So ayan, mag-apply na rin kami. But I think ako lang, I'm very particular with really promoting this to artists who are outside the center, no? Metro Manila.
Metro
Na parang
Manila,
I really
yes.
hope that I just who's watching us right now, to Rudy Riveche, Miss Shirley Halili, Rian Portugues, Jan Diasis, Tracy Santiago. I hope that you can throw in your questions also in this conversation. Medyo napasarap kami.
I have something to share lang. The reason in the Rhizomatic Interventions guidelines, may nakalagay doon, tinatanong namin, what co-funding opportunities are you thinking of pursuing? It's not a requirement really, but I just thought of considering the possibility that some of these projects already happening on the ground that they're willing to share using available technologies maybe can be expanded further and could have more beneficiaries. That's the intention. Kasi ganun ang luya eh, di ba? It has to grow in a rhizomatic way, papaspread siya. It's not pataas, ganun. So at the back of my mind, I was thinking, dun sa grant system kasi ng Japan Foundation, no? And I've experienced being a grantee before. Ano yan, 50-50 sharing. At least sa experience ko before. No? So 50% costing the Japan Foundation, 50% of the costing, ikaw maghahanap. Yun. Kailangan nga may kakilala kang may networks ka sa Japan. May networks ka sa Japanese artists. So important yun. So I was thinking, baka naman yung iba na nag-a-apply sa Japan Foundation na aligned naman sa aming mga nilagay na themes na actually very broad. Baka kung hindi nila kaya yung 50% of the cost, baka pwedeng ma-augment. So that was at the back of my mind.
Well, I think that's very nice kasi if you provide support, say with Nayong, I mean, parang if you can provide that support sa project existing, and then do you have those Skyzx parameters? Do you have those parameters na dapat exclusive lang sa inyo, or you're open to co-funding?
No, sobrang open ang Japan Foundation sa co-funding. And actually, that's also one of the things that we look at when we evaluate the proposals. Hindi pwedeng 100% Japan Foundation lang yung pagpondo ng project. So ideally, it has to be parang maraming participants or maraming iba pang organization or institutions na kasali dun sa project. So very seldom na we approve projects na kami yung sole sponsor. Very seldom yung, unless those projects are Japan Foundation organized. Pero for
would you prefer more to receive proposals from outside Metro Manila, artists from outside Metro Manila?
Yes, actually, that's where actually. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, would you prefer that, or would you prioritize that better than, say, applications from Metro Manila? I'm just wondering with regards to how you spread out the opportunities across the country.
Actually, hindi pa kami umabot sa point na ito lang yung pera, so i-prioritize natin yung region. Pero we are really aiming to strengthen our presence in the region. Kasi most of the projects that we did for the past 24 years, mas Manila-centric. So, konti lang yung nagawa namin for Visayas and Mindanao. So, we're actually, we want to learn more about Nayong Filipino kasi Dr. Laya mentioned na ang daming nag-apply from the regions and they were expecting actually more applicants from NCR. So yun yung gusto rin namin sanang mapag-aralan. Paano is it lack of marketing on our side? Like, hindi namin masyadong na-access, na tap yung communities na to na pwede sanang matulungan or
Ayun.
And just as we speak right now, we come from regions as well. I mean, we come from galing ako ng Negros, si Rhosam galing ng Iloilo, ikaw galing ng Visayas pala ito. Galing ka ng Bohol. Mga probinsya natin. No? And that although we have lived in Manila, but ako personally, I'm very as much as possible, very, very supportive sa mga artists na nakaka-experience ng mga opportunities na galing sa probinsya. Kasi alam ko yung pakiramdam ng may gusto kang gawin. You need a certain support. At, and I hope that artists in Metro Manila can also see this, can also really check on the privileges that we have enjoyed. We have been enjoying and the access, no? Kasi marami din talagang napakaraming kailangan pang gawin sa natulong, no? Pero I'm not saying that they're not doing creative things. Napakahayaman actually ng tawag dito, activities sa iba't ibang probinsya. Napakayaman. And in fact, sa experience ko, some of them or most of them are not parang they're really not money driven. They're napaka raw at napaka authentic ng intention or ng pag-explore nila ng kanilang passion and ng purpose, no? Napaka connected napaka grounded, napaka humble na yun. And I think that is one important. I'm just studying right now the idea the push and pull of globalization and localization, and how, diba, on a global the global economy is really problematic, and that there is a call to shift to really acting local, no, while still seeing that the global world, no, that we are interconnected, but there's interdependence as well. Na parang this is actually a version of that, I think, philosophy. This conversation is a version of that. Na parang this is us realizing that there is so much more to help from and to learn from also the outside the center. And we must also recognize that there's just so much more to decentralize. And there might be there might be many more ways, but for sure that's one important kumbaga parang perspective that we have to look at, na parang hindi lang ito basta, I think, providing grants to those who are in need. Hindi lang ito basta, I think, having the resources and eto ka, or parang ay okay naman na ako, nakakuha na ako. But it's on a larger scale, parang ano bang binibridge natin when we say that we have gaps, intergenerational gaps. We have cultural gaps. Okay, so paano to nag-exist? Paano siya mas-soften? So ano ba? Can we start with like opportunities? Can we start with even the idea of infrastructures? Can we, alam mo yan? So I think I also want to talk about the responsibility of those who have, the artists at this point, diba? And thank you for sharing all of these things. I think I would like to end this with how are you envisioning your role in the arts community, and in relation to also safeguarding our community, our arts community? Have you been thinking about that already? That this is a time of maybe sana hindi of pandemic, but definitely of crisis. Many crises, political crisis, socio-political mga fiasco, and a lot of probably tragedies, climate disasters and all that. How are you, your organization, you are looking into the world right now, and what are the plans? Are we staying virtual till next year? Should there be development of other forms? But what needs to be addressed really? Because we talk about support, we talk about financial support, but now let's talk about something beyond maybe the financial support, because that is for sure must be given, must be provided. What is beyond the financial support?
Me,
Your hands, Bata.
Yeah. May I answer? Ako na lang una. Number one, if there are gaps, let us be bridges for those gaps. For AUP, one bridge is the consolidated database, the database. I've seen it work with just the list of 7,000 nung tumawag si Region 6 ng DOLE. Biglang tumawag. Na-contact ko yung mga nasa Region 6 na mga dancer at musician dyan sa Boracay. 21 sila. Alam ko pa kung ilan. So, naging 57. Pero, the database is not a name. It's a three-dimensional character. It's a community. You get to one artist, you get to a community. So that's one bridge. Number one. Number two, moving forward, whatever is out there, creatives, sabi nga ng isang board member ko, yung artwork mo mabubuhay, ikaw mamamatay. Pero yung artwork mo, yung kultura, hindi mamamatay. Lagi yang nandyan. It's really just a matter of being part of it or not being part of it. Actually, whether you like it or not, you're part of it. So, I
Part
feel
of the
that,
cosmos.
yes, so we have to band together to be strong in numbers. And alam mo, minsan iniisip ko yung nagtanim ako ng alugbate kasi agriculture engineering ako, di ba?
Nice.
Kumuha ka ng alugbate, ilagay mo sa bote, lagyan mo ng tubig. Nag-grow siya. Maganda na siya ngayon. Mabilis siya mag-grow. It grows right before your eyes. Ganon ang creatives. Ganon ang Filipino creative. We can find solutions to our problems also and to other people's problems. It's just really, pagka napapagod tayo, then magpahinga, iba naman. Parang let's fly in a V formation and have synergy. And we can go anywhere we want to go. Except that we have to find out and talk about where we want to go. And one of our resource speaker before, let's envision of a country that loves each other. I mean, a loving country, a care that cares for each other. Ganon. At sino bang mas pinakamalapit sa pagiging human kung hindi mga creatives? You cannot be one until, you can't be a creative until meron kang humanity sa'yo. So I'm so excited because, well, I've been under the knife, diba? I could have died, but no, I'm still here. So this is a give back. Tama rin si Roshan. But PWD ka rin, so meron kang 20% off.
Yes,
But that's very
my
beautiful.
senior year.
That's very beautiful, Miss Jen. No? That's very inspiring. Well articulated. The work is real. The struggle is real. I think the anger is real as well. The pain is real. The hunger is real. But just as the creativity is real, and it will stay longer than probably the hunger and the anger and the pain and the fears. No, I think the creative spirit will stay longer than anything that we are experiencing right now. I'm honoring the effort and the work that you all have been doing. Rhosam, how are you seeing the future as an artist, as an artist leader, as a mobilizer? What do we really need at the end of the day?
Siguro for me, just to add up with what Miss Jen said, I think it's a proper channeling. It's how you use your network into a good source for everybody. Kasi like halimbawa, most of us kasi have the privilege na, di ba? We have been traveling. For us siguro, it's how you disseminate information. Katulad ng what I'm doing with Japan Foundation, I introduce new artists to them. I give them information of the new artists that are wanted to connect with Japanese artists and under the project or our grant of Japan Foundation. Also, in Likha PH kasi, we are doing a lot of strategy or initiatives that we are going to post soon One of them is we collaborate with beauty products. We also collaborate we wanted to commission work outside of outside of Teachers Online. And as we progress kasi as a group, we wanted to really have a community na sort of like a cooperative na parang at least there's like a base for specifically for dancers na meron silang point person or point organization to connect them. Kasi ako right now, personally, I wanted to give all of my knowledge from traveling, from connecting to NCCA, how to apply for grants, yung mga ganyan. Kasi I've been doing it for almost 10 years. And yeah, it's mostly like really helping each other and not be scared of letting people do or have their own success. Ayun yung pinaka, for me, yun yung pinahalagahan ko when I discovered that I am injured is paano ko maibibigay yung mga information ko at yung mga nalaman ko sa lahat ng mga pinagagawa ko so that everybody can achieve. Because I know the struggle. I have been struggling ever since coming from a region, especially, di ba, regional dancer, regional creatives tayo na parang hindi wala iba kasi yung iniisip ng tao na parang it's all about Manila. You have to go to Manila. I want everybody kasi to learn that, you don't have to be in Manila based to be validated. It doesn't matter where you are based. It really matter how is your work, how is your effort. Ako looking into the future, I always teach kasi that business and passion needs to work together. Yun, I always teach that whenever I travel. Parang always know your worth, not only for financially but as an artist. Ano ba ang worth mo? Your passion is your example for dancing or for theater. Diba? How can you live into an artist's life without knowing what is the business of an artist? I wanted to incorporate that to a lot of the dancers or to a lot of the creatives that I've been talking to. Yeah, we have been mobilizing everything. We cannot announce pa kasi nasa stage pa kami of finalizing it. We are mobilizing another platform because especially Likha PH right now is a movement of dancers for dancers, and in the future we wanted kasi to have a whole scope of the art form. Right now kasi we can only do one pa lang kasi small organization pa lang siya. But yeah, we are looking forward to maybe work with Auti and Nayong Filipino. We have been talking to Japan Foundation and we have been talking also to NCCA. Now it's ang dami kong sinabi, diba? It's actually, it's proper channeling. Parang networking, diba? Yung parang ano ka ba, open-minded ka ba? You always have to be an open-minded person.
Yeah. You mentioned about I think seeing us as funnels, as if we are channels, the channel cannot work if we just keep it to ourselves. The energy must flow. The wires must will function at its best if maluwag yung mga tubo, and you just let it flow to other people. What you receive, you give. What is given to you, you give. And there's power in that because it flows pa to many other pipes and whatnot. So for the generosity, Rhosam, thank you. I can agree with you. We die if we keep too much to ourselves. We really die. And for creatives, for artists, the generosity is almost like a second language. Na parang that's why we give. That's why we perform. That's why we share stories, because the act itself is giving. Creating itself is giving, and it extends. And now what we do is we give so that people can create, right? So because we create, because people can give. So it's a lemon skate of some sort. Laya, would you want to share about this is so inspiring, but I don't want to get too dreamy, but I want to ask, like, how are you seeing the future? Because it also gets darker, especially for some. Parang the media is not, showing us like really the brighter future here. But the things that we see in the news, and if we can infer it's gonna grow. It's gonna get darker, maybe for especially for those who have lesser opportunities. How are you preparing for that, or how are you responding to that?
The future, no? I think the question on how do we envision the future, no, of course, the future is looking really bleak right now, but this is really more of an aspiration. And this aspiration is really based on practices that I've been observing the whole ECQ. So what I found inspiring, for example, are the new solidarities that emerged. One solidarity I can think of is that of Lockdown Lab. Lockdown Lab is an online platform. So in there, you will see creatives, industrial designers, engineers, no? So iba't ibang discipline, you see them collaborating and creating tangible and implementable projects to help medical frontliners. So wala na yung silos na kami, arts kami, as a heritage kami, as a science kami. Doon makikita mo na naging siya, transdisciplinary. So that's one solidarity that I hope can be sustained even beyond the pandemic. Kahit may vaccine, I hope these kinds of solidarities will not be an ad hoc thing and it can be sustained. And I think the job of government is to create programs to make sure that these new solidarities can thrive. Yun na nga, yung sinasabi na hindi lang naman sa Manila Bay pwedeng mag-thrive yung mga ganyang projects, no, in programs. Anywhere in the archipelago, in fact, no? And then another, ito hindi naman siya new solidarity na nakita ko. Matagal na siya. Pero siguro mas umigting lalo yung kanilang mga interactions ngayon dahil nga ECQ, yung sa Freelance Writers Guild, no? So it's one guild that teaches, meron siyang capacity building, for example. So it teaches social responsibility and capacity building for observing professional standards of excellence, aside from advocating for long-term social protection programs. So it goes hand in hand yung social protection to be given by the state, and on the other hand, collective responsibility and collective civic engagement coming from the ground up. So I think these two things have to connect somehow and have to work hand in hand. And we need cultural workers. We need researchers. We need all the expertise that we can give so that these kinds of platforms can be created para pwedeng masustain ito na hindi lang tayo emergency response palagi. No? And which brings me back, there was a bill that was supposed to be diba? That was supposed to be forwarded, I think, by Miriam Defensor, no? The pandemic bill. So kailangan ng mga ganyan na long term. So it goes hand in hand. So iba't ibang layers ang laban. Hindi lang laban ng those people working in government, but also yung nasa private sector, and also artists who may not even be connected to any organization at all. So kailangan nating magtulong-tulong. And I think those with capacities like grant-giving bodies, government organizations, they can collaborate and create those platforms, diba? Yun, so that's one thing I envision. It's more really of an aspiration na sana maganap.
Sana maganap
this year.
Yeah. Yes. I agree that there, yung parang in the most difficult times, lumalabas din talaga yung parang it seems like it's very natural for us to actually respond, to connect to each other. Parang there's no other way. That's like an impulse of the body. Na parang pag natumba ka, parang hahawa ka talaga, right? So pag naglalakad ka sa isang tali at balance ka, kakapit ka talaga somewhere, hahawa ka talaga somewhere. And the idea alone is parang speaking so much of how connected we are. Even if we disconnect, we're really connected. I watched a documentary on mushrooms, and even how small they are, it tells a lot about how interconnected we are underneath, and the mycelium. It's so the mycelial wisdom, the wisdom in knowing that we are all interconnected, and that there's no other way to solve this but really to know that we all have our own functions and that we can remind each other of our functions, to be more say efficient or generous, to be more alive. So yes, it's strengthening the network, but it's not just about palaki ng network eh. Yung pagpapatibay din at pagpapalalim nung kapit sa lupa, no? Na kung ano man ang unos na dumating, nandito tayo. Pero we're connected, like roots, no? Parang roots tayo ng bawat isa. Skyzx, any reflections for all of these conversation?
Hindi naman
And like,
synthesis,
looking
no?
forward to, I mean, for sure you've started to talk about how are you gonna bring the artist here from Japan or artists from here to Japan. And Japan ika nga lives in the future. So I don't know what are the conversations that have trickled down into your Zoom spaces recently. But how are you seeing this? What's the future for artists who wants to explore in other spaces?
I'd like to share what Ms. Tomoko Nakamura, the assistant director, shared to the team, how she envisions us, yung Japan Foundation. So she mentioned that the future of Japan depends on people of all cultures living and working together on foundations of mutual understanding, trust, and friendship. So what I really I love about the Japan Foundation is we don't see cultural differences and language as hindrance or barrier, but it's actually a starting point for conversation. And for instance, this conversation that we're having now, at first I was a little bit hesitant to be part of it, but it's actually a good opportunity to know and to be interested in what other organizations, institutions are doing. So there.
Yes. Also because this is unlikely probably to happen unless you intend it to happen, I mean, unless you have a project with Nayong Filipino or you have a project with, parang you wouldn't have a meeting kumbaga kung ang physicalization ito, parang nag-meeting tayo ng basta na lang sa Makati or sa kung saan man, di ba?
Yes, right.
and yet I think that's also the beauty of technology because it really forges time and space somehow, no? Parang we can have this, and it can seem so unnecessary. And I'm also studying about the unnecessary. Now it's another talk, but this can seem so unnecessary kasi bakit natin kailangan mag-connect, di ba? Parang meron naman kayong function ng sarili ninyong organization and company. Pero somewhere here, someone out there, there's a brain, someone out there, there's a soul, someone out there listening. Maybe he's as young as 18 or younger, 8 years, I don't know, 10 or as old as 50, 60, 70, that seated somewhere there listening, watching, that will give this person a certain a metacognition of some sort that can amplify that wisdom that's very specific to this person can amplify to his home and to his space and to his na parang he becomes a root also of the resource of creativity and of wisdom and of love to his community. Kasi that's I think that's this also what pandemic is teaching us, no? And not only pandemic, I think life in general. Pandemic triggered for us to see life in a certain way, and to understand what it really means to be alive. And I'm happy that we are alive. We're still alive and physically, and that I feel that all of your work, the works that you do are seems like making you feel alive, and you're keeping a lot of people alive, a lot of artists alive. And I wanna emphasize on your notes on flying as in V formation, the power in numbers, power in connection, channeling in the right places, the right spaces, in languages, and recognition of our gaps and bridging those gaps, and also recognizing that some of the things that we need to learn are already there on the ground, and we just have to see it and to look. Sometimes, we yes, we look up, we look here, we look on the side, but sometimes it's just here already on the ground with us, and it's the one closest to us as well. And and also recognizing that although we artists fight for a world that's interconnected and that's intercultural, and that's that we really want to learn from other cultures, but at the same time there's also so much to learn from ours. And I think it will only be as valuable to learn from other cultures if we also learn ours. And I want to thank you all for this. And this is an act itself of reimagination, and this is also the purpose of this program, to really tap into our neurons somewhere there, to help also people, to facilitate also reimagination for other people. No? Kasi if the future is kind of blurry for some, just yesterday we talked some of the core members of Black Canvas, na parang the future seems blurry, and that's a problem sometimes kasi people can be so confused and so pulled by so many energies going around, so many invitations, and we can't seem to know really where to focus because nga it's so blurry. We cannot seem to prepare already for 2 years, 3 years right now. Parang we can only prepare for this year or this month. And so if the future is blurry, I think one of the roles of us as artists, as managers, cultural managers, workers, is to create that hole in that spot where we can still peek into our imagination and see the future no matter what, and make it happen. And sometimes it starts from really seeing it happen, and then the power of words come to life. And before we know it, we're already holding each other's hand back into the bonfire. This is beautiful, so much beautiful, so beautiful, and so inspiring, really so inspiring. This is literally making me feel alive right now, being far from you. And I hope that we can inspire more artists, not only to seek help from you, but also artists are so much capable to help fellow artists. I think that's the point, no? And that's not to reduce na parang it's all on us. No? Parang it means that we're also capable to heal other artists, to heal, enlighten other artists, educate other artists, so that we can work with other communities around us, like governments, people who are in parang ultimately we hope, aspiration niya, na parang we hope that everyone can come from a very sincere, authentic place, whatever you do, whether you're in a government, whether you're in parang we have there's so much kumbaga darkness na already with associated with these sectors, no, and even in our own kumbaga fences, in our own yard, parang ang gulo-gulo, ang dilim-dilim, na parang there is no way but with all the pain and everything in the darkness, there is no way but to fight to see the colors and to show everyone that it's still a colorful world out there. It's not a black and white. It's still a colorful world. The trees are still green, the roses are still red, and the birds still fly out there. And yes, we get hungry, but we always have food to share somewhere there, and if not, the plants are waiting for us. So, and the land is there. It's a gift. So this is Black Canvas Alive communities. Thank you for joining us. If you like this, please you can share. The purpose of this is to give access to those. Medyo napahaba lang, but I think it's worth it. So go share if you want. Bahala na kayo dito kung saan yung gagamitin to, but please share to your and use this as a point for discussion in your own groups, artist groups, no matter how small, in your classrooms, wherever you are. So use this and reach out to Japan Foundation Manila. Just type Japan Foundation Manila. Reach out to artist welfare, what's the P again of the Philippines? Sorry, Miss Jennifer.
Project.
A
Artist
project.
Welfare Project
Yeah,
Incorporated.
sorry. Artist Welfare Project Incorporated, and then Likha PH, and then Nayong Filipino Foundation. They're all on Facebook. And so please, if you cannot support Black Canvas for anything, please support them. So give it directly to them. Give it directly to Likha PH. Give it or seek support to yun. After all, yun naman yung purpose natin. It's to really be channel for everyone. So napakarami. Yeah, there's power in collaboration, really. And it is our nature. So thank you so much, and I hope that we can see each other again, no, in the physical world. So maraming salamat, Miss Jen. Maraming salamat, Rhosam. Maraming salamat, Sky and Laya. Thank you so much for this time. And I'd like to thank also Precious, our company manager, for helping us out here. So maraming salamat.